Hi everyone, welcome to Grounded Holidays, your December Wellbeing series. I'm Melanie Gabby, bridging psychology and spirituality. I'm a wellbeing specialist. I created this series after years of working with individuals, children, and families in the mental health services, one-to-one client sessions, and through my own personal reflections on how deeply December can stir the waters for many. So, the festive season, for all its sparkle, often brings the things that we manage to keep tucked away, and most of the year can surface at this time. So, such things like family conflicts, shared childcare arrangements, feelings of loneliness, travel stress, obligations to visit unwell relatives, or just the pressure to make everything feel joyful and perfect. So you may even wish to spend the season alone. You may feel like going against the grain of what society has told us it should look like. And for many, this contrast amplifies anxiety, depression, and long-standing patterns for family and childhood. I once heard someone say, or even actually noticed when I did watch, if you're in the UK, you're aware of EastEnders and Coronation Street. And we pretty much expect that every Christmas there is some kind of explosion, calamity, family issues, falling outs, and even more serious things happening. So, despite all the good intentions, something can erupt. And that's not far from the truth for many households. So this is where the series begins. It's not advice, but with reflection, ask yourself, what story do you carry about December? What memories surface? What parts were painful? What parts were fun and you enjoyed? What characters in your life tend to play out the same roles every year? Rather than push these feelings aside, I want you to notice them, speak them out, talk to a friend, share it on a blog, write about them, and know that you're not alone. Many people feel like this. Believe me, I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals. And at this time of the year, regardless of your faith, religion, spiritual beliefs, whether you believe or not, this time of the year for a lot of people all around the world means something and will evoke some kind of thoughts and feelings. So, whether you crave that connection or more solitude, both are valid and both are possible. So, just be aware that this is for anyone who just is approaching the holidays and maybe already starting to feel that spin inside of having to get things prepared. Everything speeds up and everything starts to just get even busier and busier. I mean, I'm noticing it in the shops. I went in the shop the other day and, we're not even in December yet. And they have the Christmas tree, the lights, the calendars, all sorts of things. So this series offers a video a day, and with the occasional bonus when I get inspired to share something that comes to me in terms of what I observe and witness at the outside when I'm out visiting different places. And it gives you tools that I've garnered, that lots of different people in self-development, personal development, neuropsychiatry, lots of different people who do podcasts talk about. But I like to keep it simple. I think sometimes our lives can be really busy that we don't feel like we can start because it already feels too busy, and we perceive it that we either literally have no time or have no time. So these tools comes from psychology, spirituality, personal development, and 3 decades of client work. And in particular, I spent over a decade working directly with families and children and ran a mental health service. And so I saw what happened over the holidays, kids that were worried about the parents, in between, they wanted to spend time with their dad or their mum, or they had a sick grandparent that they were worried about, or they had to travel far, or something was different this year. And let alone the kids that aren't around families, the ones that are in the system, the kids that are in foster homes, care homes, and moving from place to place is particularly hard for them. So I want to include everyone in this thinking of all of those different experiences that people have. So somebody around you, and even you, will have some thoughts or feelings about this time of year. So I share what I think are simple videos that help you ground. And when you start to practice them and create a plan, that can help you thrive, not just survive. So it's about having a December game plan. So often, So I'll show you mine. It's a bit busy, but you know, I have a game plan that I've not started populating yet with different things. But this top part here is November and this is December. And in that game plan, when I've got my task list, it includes the things I need to do for my projects, the work, things that I need to sort out in the house, and the extra things, regular things like shopping, tidying up, picking up the things that you need, and the projects that I work on, and also time to spend with people that I don't always get to see because everyone's lives are busy, and sometimes we forget how much time has passed before we reach out and connect with somebody. So this is about think about creating a game plan for December before even the 1st of December. Consider what I've already asked you of what's it like, what goes through your head, what feelings are evoked, what's it been like over the years. And if you're working, of course, there are expectations at work. People can either be deliberating on whether or not you go out or not, or you might be someone that spends a lot of time alone or works at home. So it's going to have, so you need a game plan, and some of these tools are well researched, well documented as to help us ground, calm down, feel peace and calm. But the key to all of this is having something that you do every day. So if you can map out some time every day in the morning or afternoon or in the evening and think about your next day and how you want the day to go and what your game plan for the whole of the um, 30 days in December, before we get to New Year's Eve, and we start thinking about a few days before what New Year and what that's going to look like, and whether or not we're even going to have a game plan for January. So have your resolutions and your goals and your game plan set for December. Your fitness goals, your family goals, connection goals, health, food, exercise, all of that. Don't let the things that work for you drop. And that's the other key aspect. And also be aware of the emotional pinch points, the quieter spaces, the timeouts that can help you, like I said, not just survive, but actually thrive. Because the brain doesn't always distinguish between what's real and imagined. And so we have stories that we tell ourselves, and those stories can feel like they really matter and they're true. But one thing I've done working with clients when they're going back home and either they feel like they don't really want to do it, but they feel obligated, or they do it and they're hoping that something's going to be different, or it's just about being real and them spending time with some of the people that matter and having a game plan for how they navigate the ones where it's more difficult. It's about being honest with yourself, being real, being intentional and kind, especially to yourself. Self-compassion, that we're all human, we don't get it right all the time, but you can still find the magic and calm within. So let's begin by meeting yourself exactly where you are. No need to fix, to perform. Just breathe. You deserve moments of peace. Let's create them together. So before I go into days one onwards, um, get yourself a journal. Even get a piece of A4 paper like this, and draw a long line. You can't see where I've got from the 1st to the end of December. I might even draw January under there at some point. And what I do is I've put boxes at the bottom of this for the different areas of life. And so you can have family, work, hobbies, spirituality, finances. So it gives you a focus. The brain, when we start to get stressed, it's very difficult for our cognitive faculties to operate at their fullest. And so even when you feel a bit stressed, if you've got the game plan on your desk or on your laptop, I like writing things out. I think there's something about writing things out. Then what you do is you map out, and I have that visual now of that whole of the month in front of me. So it might be that you set the goal of watching one of these videos every day, getting your journal out, getting some time before you open up your emails and your Instagrams and Facebooks and all the other platforms that that distract our time and attention, and take some deep breaths, connect with that, and then look at the whole stretch of time in front, and then start thinking about the reality of what is actually coming up. So a lot of families, the schools start to do more festivals or shows, and their kids are in that, so they've got to get the clothes. People start planning for the food or where they're going and the travel and booking tickets. It might be that some people have end of year at work, and so they have to also plan for projects that are coming to an end. Or if you're going away, you've got an extra set of work to do to tidy up before you go. So this is about creating that game plan. Okay. And then when you watch a video, you've already got your game plan, and your video just helps you anchor back in to your intention to keep clarity and focus. And if you're losing clarity and focus because you start to feel stress, then these tools will help you get grounded, breathing into your body, acclimatizing to where you are, refocusing initially on yourself, then on your plan, and then on the wider aspects of your life. And if you in the evening ask yourself, what 3 things went well today, even if some things didn't go well, you can ask yourself, what did I learn from those? But ask yourself, what went well today? And um, then look at your game plan and say, okay, this is the priority for tomorrow. So everybody has a to-do list, whether it's home or work. But when you look at that list, say, what 3 things, if I got these off my list, I would feel like I was satisfied and had met the goals for the day. And the chances are you'll meet more, because it puts you in a different mindset. It puts you in a mindset of, I'm going to get up, we've organized X, Y, and Z. We're going to get the bus, the car, the train, or open up the laptop at X time. And this is the time that I have between then and leaving the house, or opening the laptop, or doing something else. And so how can I get myself grounded and centered? And so that when any competing demands come in of, can we go there? Can we do this? Is this happening? You'll be able to sit back and say, hang on a minute, let me take some time out to think. And you get your diary of the whole of the December in front of you, and you start to map out where you can put some things in for you to meet your friends still, to have the things that you need to do at work, to spend time with your family, to go off and travel, to book the tickets, to do the admin, so you can have a morning of admin of just making sure, what do I need to make sure that I crack on with this week. So when you've got, just a final thing before we go into the full videos, when you've got days 1 and onwards on there, and what you can do is, under the days where you've got events, just put a mark, and you can code it if you want to be really detailed about it, and you can code it as in F, family, and W for work. And it might be a work event, a family event, a theatre trip. Kids have got to go somewhere. You're meeting up with the parents, meeting friends in town, in the city. You've not seen them for a while. And so when you look at it, you want to also be aware of, how much time do you need to defrag and download and rest? Because rest has got to be the R that goes in here as well. How much time do you like being with people? And so what you then tend to want to do is crunch some time together of the activities, and then rest and relax. And then activities, rest and relax. And even if that's only one night, one evening, a few hours, to have time out. And then be mindful of all the things that you might do to distract yourself: drugs, alcohol, gaming, so everything in moderation, of course, and things that keep your well-being intact, because a lot of people also start drinking more and eating more. And what we know, when we start to bombard the body with all this extra stuff, that can also affect how we feel. Of course, a drink can make us, feel like we're feeling rubbish in the morning. Overeating or eating bread when we don't normally do, the more subtle you become aware of the way your body feels and your mind feels, it's easy to fall off this sort of track and this trajectory. So it doesn't have to be rigid. You can move things around, but it's about getting your brain to have something to focus on, so that when you start to feel like you can't think straight, you can look at this, sit down, and to use some of these techniques. So every day builds on the next. It's compound, and compound interest, compound focusing on yourself and grounding yourself. You'll start to notice a difference. So that even if the stories in your head seem like they're always going to look like that, you can also challenge yourself to say, okay, That's the way it's been, but what is my ideal? And even though this part you might say, Mel, no, this always happens. No, hold the ideal. I've actually had clients who've been quite surprised. Things went better than expected. Once they felt more empowered, they had a plan to get out and have time to themselves when they were spending long amounts of time with the family. Um, they put more rest in, they focused on their sleep, and they also thought about some of the interactions and how they managed those better. So they became more empowered by focusing on all those different aspects. So I look forward to hearing any comments. Please like and subscribe to my page and press the bell in particular if you want the notifications to come through for everything in December. I think the videos are about 15 to 30 minutes, but I'm trying to keep them shorter. If anyone's been watching my stuff for a while, you know that I can do very long videos as well. All right, so I look forward, like I said, to hearing from you. So let me know how it's going at any point in the month. Thank you.